Hello and welcome to another episode of I Guess I'll Do It with Pat House. Today is a special, very special episode. I'm coming to you live from Hickory, North Carolina at the Jackson Creative Studios for The Mesh, or with The Mesh, with my producer, the man that makes it all happen, Andrew Moose.
Patrick House.
What's up, dude?
My man. How's it going, friend?
It's going very well. It's great to see you. It's great to be here in Hickory, North Carolina with you. We did a show together last night here on my way to South Carolina for my weekend shows, and we had the chance to work together last night.
Yeah, it was fantastic, man.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was great.
You know, when I asked the crowd, I was like, is anybody else besides my friends here for comedy? And 4 people raised their hands. I was like, that's awesome.
Yeah, there it is.
And they were attentive. They were looking and laughing from the back of the room, like a little further back, and they were having a great time. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. I said to you, comedy's one of those weird things. It's like, I said to you, I'm just doing 10 minutes. And then I did 25.
Yeah.
Like, because they were having fun. I was having fun. You guys were having fun. And it was so cool. So I'm glad we got to work together with you doing music and me doing stand-up.
Yeah, for sure, man. Those mixed media events are always a good time. I've done another mixed thing with a previous friend of the podcast, Rich Schneider. Not Rich Schneider. Who was that other guy? Rich Schultes, the Schultes fellow that was on our podcast back probably almost a year ago, I guess. And I love doing that because everybody doesn't want to hear music all the time. Everybody doesn't want to hear comedy all the time.
Yeah.
They want variety. They want...
Especially with spoken word, people lose interest. I mean, that's why comedy shows should be like 90 minutes max because, you know, we're all addicted to our phones. And also, like, your attention span just naturally like, okay, I'm done. I'm tired of listening to somebody talk.
I'm sorry, what were you talking about again?
Yeah, exactly. But no, that was really, really cool. So I've done a handful of shows where music and comedy on the same bill did not go so hot.
Yeah.
So I'm just happy last night.
Yeah, it was great.
It was fantastic.
It was great, yeah. Decent little crowd, a little intimate show. You know, we did it at the Barley Market Hickory. Shout out to Jeremy Langley, who just is always open for new ideas. That was the first time he's done comedy there.
Oh, cool.
And I think he's looking to do a return leg with you guys, too.
I think we talked about it.
Yeah,
we may have been a little drunk last night,
yeah,
but we
I've
definitely
got the date
talked
saved.
about...
I'm not going to announce the date, but we'll work on that.
Just in case it's not on the books, we will confirm this in the next week or two. But Hickory, I'm coming back at some point.
That's right, for sure.
So, as you know, because you listen to all my podcasts, because you're forced to, basically.
I get paid to.
Yeah. I always talk about where I first met my guest, and you and I met at our very good friend's wedding, I believe.
Yes. We met at Brian and Christy Shuford's wedding.
Brian and Christy Shuford's wedding.
And that was like 10 years ago.
It's been 10 years?
It's been about 10 years, I think.
Wow.
Time flies, man.
Dude, time.
It might be like 8, but it's
But
close.
still,
It's
that's
close.
still approaching 10.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you and I met there, and 10 years ago, I was actively opening for Tom Segura a lot on the road, and you had went to college with him, so we got to talking about that right away.
Yeah, for sure. Tommy and I went to school together at LR, Little Ryan University. It was at Little Ryan College when Tom and I was there. We ran around in different social circles, but the school's so small. It's a small liberal arts school right here in Hickory. Right now it has 2,000 kids. I think when we were there, it had like 1,200. Maybe 800 of us lived on campus.
Oh, my God.
So
you almost
we knew each other.
You don't know everybody, but you kind of
definitely do know
at
everybody.
Least the face.
Yeah,
Wow.
for sure. And, you know, Tom would come to...
That's almost like a high school class, 800 people. Because I think mine had just shy of 600, like with 200 more.
For sure, yeah. I mean, it's... You know, it's a small Division II school that, you know, liberal arts, you know, right here in Hickory. And, but, you know, the school's growing leaps and bounds. It's good to see. Tom was always real involved in, you know, doing theater stuff and, you know, other things, you know, around the comm industry. But, yeah, he's. I think he's made our University Hall of Fame now. I think that, you know. I think
he's mentioned it in a special before. I think.
Yeah, dick and fart jokes.
Yeah. That's like a fear of mine that like I would be in like my own high school's Hall of Fame one day and be like, I talk about my dick around the country. Like there's athletes that have gone pro and like there's celebrities that have gone to my high school. Like I have contributed nothing other than just being a average road comic.
Right.
But that's some small world shit. The fact that I've known Christy since I was in high school. You we're friends with her husband since childhood.
Yeah, Bryant and I grew up together. Yeah.
And then I start doing comedy, and I hook up with Tom Segura years and years ago, and then we meet, and you know Tom from. It's just small world shit, man.
Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes when you hear that, you're just like, it really is a small world.
Yeah, for sure. I've got this. Well, it's not really a theory, but I've got this. I guess it is a theory that everybody that you like being around, like you're essentially like 2 or 3 degrees of separation from all other people that are like that.
Yeah.
So, generally speaking, the people that I know, like, and trust, and I meet other people that feel the same way about those friends, it's immediate fast friends territory.
Absolutely. 100%. Yeah. So I'm glad to be here. The studio is awesome. I love all these movie posters in the hallways. Yeah. This is so cool. I want to thank you because you do wonders for me. I'm a stone cold idiot. And when we first got this podcast off the ground, I feel like I was asking you technology questions like a second grader. I'm like, do I click this button or this button? So thank you for all the work you do. I appreciate it. It's awesome.
No worries,
I love
man.
working with you guys. This is so awesome.
Well, thanks for being on the network. We really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
You've gained leaps and bounds too, man. Like as a podcaster, it was never bad, but you've just gotten a whole lot better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what's so funny? I think about that too because, like, now granted, I have had awesome guests across the board.
Sure.
But right out the gate, I had some of my absolute favorites, and I was a little more green then. I think I got better over the past 2.5 years. But I listened back to like the first episodes with some of my like Chad Daniels and Dan Cummins and Greg Fitzsimmons. It's like, oh man, I was pretty raw then.
Yeah, well,
but that's also part of the learning experience.
It is, learning curve is pretty sharp everywhere. Like if you're diving into anything new, I've learned this, pretty recently that, education is expensive.
Yeah.
And the quicker that you pick things up and the quicker that you're able to, put out a better product, the more fun it is. Mm-hmm. The more, I guess it's, it's more appealing to the person to do it,
mm-hmm.
And in the podcasting world, it shows, it definitely shows people that want to be podcasters and people that want to share their stories, via the internet, it shines through the people that are passionate about it.
Mm-hmm. I'm still learning stuff all the time, and I love talking to people and navigating a conversation, and it's really, really fun.
Right.
So what got you into this world? How did you into
podcasting?
Yeah.
All right.
So, or just your whole career journey, even before this. It's I guess I'll do it. Meaning, I talked to my guest about what.
I mean that's pretty fitting for how I got into podcasting. I was a small business owner for a while, and just decided that I was ready to sell it, sell the business. And our friend Mary Margaret Baker, who does the graphics for your podcast,
I slept in her old house last night.
Right? Who also lives in Brian Christie or
our friend's house. Yeah.
For sure. Mary Margaret and I went to Lenore Ryan together, and she was also friends with Tom back in the day. And I was talking to her one day. I came in here we have a podcast called I'm With the Band. I actually host that podcast, and I came in to do that podcast with the old host. And I told her, I was like, I love doing this. I was like, this is so much fun. Mm-hmm. She was like, well, we have a business development job opening up with Jackson Creative. I'd love for you to apply if you're really wanting to do this. And part of the gig is producing podcasts. And I was like, well, I have no fucking idea how to do that. And she's like, well, we can teach you. And so I jumped in. I sold my business and joined Jackson Creative, and we do all kinds of stuff. Podcasting is just kind of like a little wrinkle of what we do, but we
what else do you guys do?
Yeah, we video creation, online content, Google campaigns, social media campaigns, all that good stuff. Graphic design, websites. We basically anything you put on the internet, we do. But where my main role here is, producing podcasts, and we've got right now on our network, we've got some good ones. We've got some really, really good podcasts. Pat House. God dang it, man. I guess I'll do a Pat House flagship podcast of the Mesh Network. We also have John Reap's Countryish.
Yep.
We've got Kathleen Madigan's Pubcast.
Yep.
And then we've
Both are awesome.
Yeah, and then we've got a whole host of other organic local podcasts that we do. And, we've got podcasts like Kathleen, she is averaging, a couple million downloads a year to a few podcasts that get like 8 downloads a week, something like that. So it's like we have a whole host of
sufficiently in the middle.
You're 100% in the middle. Yeah, ain't number one, but right in the middle. I think that's the way that John Reeps. That's what John Reeps' theme song says.
One of my favorite comics is Greg Fitzsimmons. He's been on my podcast, and he said, "I crawled my way to the middle, and I'm happy here." And I'm like, that's fucking perfect.
Yeah,
honestly,
for sure.
I don't want to be Chappelle or Chris Rock, but I don't want to be an open micer either. I'm like, being in the middle is totally fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean,
and there's so many different levels of success in the middle,
right? And you just got to be happy when it's at the end of the day. It's like if you can get to a point to where you're happy with what you're doing and you are successful, you can pay your bills, and you're not drowning in debt, then I think you're A-okay in my book.
Absolutely, man. And
get to travel the country to talk to people and make people laugh. That's gotta be great,
it's
man.
Surreal sometimes, but you get wrapped up. I talked about this on the podcast before.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get wrapped up in the fact that it's a job, and you're like,
sure.
Because I drove 9 hours yesterday. I drive 2 hours today, but coming home on Sunday is going to be a mother, because that's going to be like the long 12 to 13 hour drive.
Right.
And then I'm like, what the fuck? But then it's like, oh yeah, I just did stand up all weekend. So it's. You got to sometimes sit back and remember to enjoy it, because
for sure.
You get wrapped up in the fact that it's work, and you forget to just have fun for a couple hours.
Yeah, for
just
sure.
have fun.
Yeah,
and then tagging on like what we did last night, cool shit along the way makes it more fun.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm driving down there. Why wouldn't we try to put something together on the off night?
Yeah.
To just make the weekend a little better.
Absolutely. It was like, granted, I would have just been at the bar with you anyway,
exactly,
coming through town. But like, it was great to have an event, and you fed me Jaeger till I about passed out, and it was a good time, man. And we got to help you workshop some Bojangles jokes.
Yes, I totally forgot about that one. And then Christy yelled it out, and I was like, oh shit. And it did well, and I'll remember that for the sets tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
to all comics out there that are listening to this, if you play in the South, at least in Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, like parts of Georgia, if you got some Bojangles material, it's a home run.
Also, let me say, sometimes heckling not that bad. Sometimes in the crowd, sometimes somebody in the crowd remembers something you don't.
Yeah, for sure.
So that is a
we
joke.
definitely did heckle you last night.
Oh, but you guys are my friends, so that was more than okay. But that's so funny that Christy was just like, the Bojangles thing, and I'm like, what? Oh yeah, and that's a joke I only do when I do Raleigh. So now that I'm on the other side of the state and going to South Carolina, I'm like, oh shit, I can whip that out this weekend. So I'm actually glad that
for sure.
that some shit was being yelled out last night.
Absolutely.
But if you're in a comedy club, shut the fuck up.
It's like finding your bow rounds in your fries.
Yes.
You got to get those specific, little quips.
Yeah, we don't even have those anywhere near us.
Yeah, what's the closest one? It's my favorite fast food restaurant by a freaking mile.
Oh, we don't. I want to say if I was driving south from Philly, I mean, into Virginia.
Yeah.
But definitely not even like southern Maryland or northern Virginia.
Right on.
But it's such a true story. I remember I was driving from Philadelphia to Raleigh.
Should we even talk about what Bojangles is for these people?
Yeah, I was talking about the fast food. Okay, you explain it because
well, Bojangles is the best fast food restaurant on the planet, and they sell their famous chicken and biscuits is their tagline.
Okay,
great fried chicken, great sides, but they also serve a banging breakfast. They've got anything you can put on a biscuit, eggs and proteins and all that stuff. But it's just and French fries are banging.
Well, here's the bit, because I feel like if you feel like I need to explain it. I was driving from Philadelphia to Raleigh, and I stopped at Bojangles, and it was the only fast food restaurant I've seen since the 80s or early 90s that still had a microphone at the register to get the order to whoever was preparing the food. So I forget what I said.
The person 3 feet behind him.
Yes, I'm going to make my order up. I don't remember what I got, but let's just say number 3 combo. I say number 3 combo, and the guy went number 3 combo, and I'm like, holy shit, the guy's right there. And I forget what I was like, Dr. Pepper. He went Dr. Pepper. I'm like, I can reach over and they still used a microphone, and it blew my mind. Yeah. So I sat there inside and I ate. And I just couldn't stop watching person after person order and then just say the order into the microphone. And I opened with it that night at Good Nights in Raleigh, and it fucking destroyed. And that was my opener every time I did a show at Good Nights for at least 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, for sure. I lived in Raleigh for a minute, and that Bojangles over there, I think it's on Capital, maybe. I don't know. I spent a lot of time in there. Bojangles has this. I don't know. I've eaten my entire life. I've never lived anywhere outside of North Carolina, so I have had Bojangles at my disposal. At the longest, a 10-minute drive to Bojangles is as far as I could go, and it's just really been a love affair of mine forever.
So it's like a McDonald's or like a Chick-fil-A. They're like everywhere.
Yeah, I mean they're
we've
here in Hickory. I think we've got like 4.
Oh wow, there's some statistic. And of course I'm going to throw out a statistic with inaccurate facts, but it's like 80% of Americans live within like 3 miles of a McDonald's.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I was reading something. I know this is a comedy podcast, but I was reading something that McDonald's isn't really a restaurant business; it's a real estate business. So the franchisees buy up the Bojangles, buy McDonald's for the property. Because there is just so much money in real estate these days that the amount of McDonald's there, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, like the property values outweigh all of the actual like sales and food. So it's like it's an investment for McDonald's because they're they're a real estate company. They're not a fast food company.
Huh.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess.
I never thought about it.
I don't know how they
way,
make money on it, but except selling good French fries.
Oh my God, absolutely. And like I haven't had McDonald's in forever, but when I was like hungover in my 20s, it was the first place I would go to. All I wanted was McDonald's.
Yeah.
All I wanted was McDonald's.
There's a few things at McDonald's that I can get down on, but I don't know. I guess it's just because there's just so many other good ones around. I've gravitated away from them, I guess. But still, shout out Ronald. Creepy ass clown.
Yeah. Still, and they're still rolling with that mascot too. But think about all the forgotten ones: the McBurglar and Grimace. They had a lot of
Grimace. I was getting ready to bring up Grimace. Hamburglar.
Hamburglar.
Yeah, for sure.
I still have some of my old McDonald's toys from the Happy Meals from the 80s.
Oh, yeah, those are
I still
great.
have, I don't do anything with them, but it's cool to just, they're in a desk drawer, and sometimes I open it up, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, I still got them.
Yeah.
The old contraptions that open up, oh, I love that stuff.
That's, blast from the past, childhood, that's stuff that, you get really pissed off at mom if she threw away.
Oh, absolutely. So we're here in Hickory now. Where are you from?
Statesville, North Carolina, which is about 45 minutes east of here.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
that's where you had your whole childhood.
That's where I grew up. Yeah, I'd moved to Hickory to come to LR back in 1998. I was a soccer player, and
nice.
Yeah, so we were like I said, D2 program, and realized really quickly that I hated playing soccer for in college. Like it was a job, man. Like I refused.
I can't even imagine.
The worst. I was like, we're not going pro. We're sitting here. We're a 500 level D2 program, and you're making me get up at 5 o'clock to go run and swim to go what? Go play Carson Newman next week? Like forget that. Like I'm not doing that.
Were you a runner at all as well?
No, I played goalkeeper.
Oh, you have the laziest position.
Yeah.
I mean, for most of the game.
Well, there's a lot of cardio training in it, but
dude,
I don't run distances. I'm built for sprints, not distance.
As a goalkeeper, right? I'm going to compare this to playing baseball and playing in the outfield. I enjoyed playing the outfield, but when the ball came to me, I was like, "Ah, shit, come on." Did you feel the same way being a goalie?
Yeah,
or did you get excited? Because I like being in the outfield because it was minimal action, and I sucked at sports. I'm well aware of that. But
sure.
I like the outfield. I enjoyed catching high pops. Yeah. But if one came to me, I'd be like, "Oh, come on!"
Right.
And then you get back sweat immediately, and I got anxiety, and I would catch it most of the time. But then when you don't, you're like, "See, fuck, I fucking hate myself."
Yeah.
And then so.
But
some people thrive on that action.
Yeah. Well, there's a whole lot of psychology that goes on into playing that position in that particular sport. It's a whole lot of. It's more high level concept. Like when you get into the real high level, football. It's it's concentration more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
So when you get to the higher levels, goalkeepers might only possess the ball or have a half dozen touches in 90 minutes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And so you have to be super super concentrated and everything else. But there's also good news is that 10 other people have to essentially screw up before you get scored on. So it's you're
relying on them and you're like, come on guys, come on.
Yeah, of course. So it's It's more organizational stuff and everything else. But like I haven't played in so long. I'm 43, man. I haven't played any sort of organized soccer in like 15 years or so. But
it looks like work.
For sure. But it's I would much rather go play golf.
Oh, that was going to be that was the perfect segue into what I was going to talk about next. When did you start golfing? Because you and I have talked about it here and there. Because normally when I record my podcast, I either just came from the golf course
right.
or I'm going out to one.
Right, sure. Well, it kind of all fits in. After I quit playing soccer at LR, I realized I would much rather hang out with my fraternity brothers and chase girls around than play soccer. And so my fraternity brothers all were on the LR golf team. Like every player on the LR golf team was in my fraternity.
Okay.
So I played golf, once or twice a year with my dad and uncles just to get out of my mom's hair,
Yeah.
Didn't have a set of my own or anything like that. And after I quit playing, I got really bored. I was like, I don't have anything to do. I'm just like, what should I do? And all my buddies were like, you need to learn how to play golf better.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's a good idea. So they piecemealed me a set together and, and then my folks bought me a set, and then I started going out and playing with those guys. And there was a golf course. Rest in peace to Hampton Heights. That was a little like public golf course that was right up the street from LR. And LR kids could again, this was like in 1999 or 2000. You could pay $20 on Tuesday and play all day.
Oh my
all day.
God.
You could show up at 8 o'clock. Sorry, you could show up at 8 o'clock. And play till
9 o'clock.
You're done. Play as long as you want to.
Oh my God.
There was some days where
That sounds like work too. After 18 holes, I'm dying
for
to
sure,
be done.
But, it's when you don't have anything to do and you're just a college kid, you're just ditching class. It's like, sure, let's go play 54 holes today.
Oh my God.
And we would rip it around in 6 or 7 hours. You'd skip holes and, just people get in front of us, just skip around them. And it was one of those places. You show up in a T-shirt and shorts, they didn't care,
I played a place like that in Toledo. I golfed in Toledo 2 weeks ago, and I felt bad. I did not have a golf shirt with me. So I went to Target and just bought a blue one off the rack. I get to the golf course. I'm the only person wearing a golf shirt.
Yeah.
Everybody is in ripped jean shorts and T-shirts. I'm like, okay, that was a wasted trip to Target.
Yeah, for sure.
And it was my first time playing a course like that. Like not that I play anywhere fancy, but all the golf courses.
But you work at a high-end club, though, right?
It's still a public golf course. It's really nice. Really nice, but it's still a public golf
wear a
course.
golf shirt,
Absolutely. So that's like ingrained in me, and I play a couple other courses in my neighborhood that are all would require you to wear a golf shirt. I showed up here, and it was like playing a fucking Dave Matthews tailgate.
What are these bumpkins doing?
but it was awesome.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you one thing. There used to be more of those like type of golf courses around, but they're kind of a dying breed now because a lot of people are getting priced out of the sport.
And I was talking to Bryant yesterday about how just public golf has exploded since the pandemic.
Oh yeah, for sure. And with public golf exploding, they're also raising prices.
Absolutely,
because they're like, we got to make money here because they've been getting absolutely their shit pushed in for
and golf courses,
10, 15
There's
years.
so many golf courses where I live that are just booked solid every single day.
Yeah, it's good.
It's
it's
awesome.
great.
That's one of the benefits of golfing on the road as a comic. I'm usually a single, and I can usually get thrown in somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
I get paired up with twos and threes, but I mean, when you travel, like just coming up as a single, they're like, "Yeah, can you hang out 10 minutes?" Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, for
They'll
sure.
Throw me right on.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I suck. I'm trying to get better.
Yeah, it's a hard game. It really is. But I'll tell you one thing about those country bumpkins that have jean shorts and ripped T-shirts and stuff. I've played in some games with some of those guys, and I've seen a guy in jean shorts shoot 65 before.
Jesus,
I've seen that, and listen, if you ever get paired up with somebody, this is just for your and if somebody in jean shorts comes up to you and asks you to start gambling on the golf course, you absolutely say no. You're like,
that sounds
like
a
we'll
lesson.
Just start out at like $1 a hole and see what happens. Like, this guy's ready to take everything you own.
That sounds like a hard lesson you learned one day.
Oh yeah,
the hard way.
100%. Yeah, don't ever Don't ever judge a book by its cover.
Nothing makes me happier than when I get paired up with a complete stranger and they like have a horrible tee shot on the first tee. I'm like, okay, I'm at home. I feel comfortable. Like he fucked up first.
Right.
And now any bad shot I make, I'll feel comfortable around the stranger
Sure.
because they had a horrible shot on the first tee.
Right. You know, I talk to people about golf all the time. I love it, and it's the best piece of golf advice that anybody ever told me was that nobody gives a shit what you shoot. Generally speaking, except you. Except you.
Absolutely. As long as you
know,
just
and
play
like-
efficiently,
Right, and-
shoot a 150, just be at your ball.
Hey, listen, play fast and be fun to be around, and you can shoot 100 if you play with me. I don't care. You know, and
I'll shoot more than that.
I think a lot of people are like that too. That
just efficiently.
Play fast and be fun, and don't take yourself too seriously. That's the key.
Like I suck at golf, but I've always compared golf to stand up because I've been doing stand up for almost 20 years, and I've been golfing for probably about like 15 or so. And it's like, man, like golf and stand up are both hard. It's hard. But like one good open mic keeps you coming back, and like even getting just one par or one really good bogey where 2 of the 3 shots came together, you're like, okay, this is why I'm here.
Yeah.
And then the next night you get beat down again. But I've always compared golf to stand up, and you just keep it's a glutton for punishment. You keep coming back for more.
Yeah, for sure. It's a nasty habit.
Yeah. Next time I'm back in town, we definitely have to golf.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That absolutely has to happen. This was a quick trip this time, but we will absolutely make that happen.
Yeah.
What's your favorite course around here?
Oh, well, I'm a typical free agent. I don't really. I'm not a member anywhere. I just don't get to play a lot, play as much as I used to. And I guess the music venue has kind of put a halt to my nice weather Saturday golf playing. But yeah, I play the majority of the time. It's a place called Players Ridge. It's right outside of Hickory, and
nice.
It's a good little track. It's had its ups and downs. Just like anything else, it's been through a whole lot of renovations and ownerships and all that good stuff. And it's a decent price point, and the guys are fun to play around.
Nice.
Play with. Yeah.
So let's talk about the music venue. You have a really cool endeavor you've been working on. For how long have you been working on this?
Oh man, my partners and I started kicking around the idea of opening up a music venue here in Hickory about 3 years ago.
Okay.
We were, I had mentioned to a friend of mine who is in commercial real estate that, and he's also my partner, that I was really interested in bringing an outdoor music venue to Hickory in some shape or form.
Yeah.
Because there's been indoor places, but you can't beat an outdoor lawn amphitheater.
No, there's one in my home. Well, next town over, but there's one in my hometown.
And so we took a underserved piece of property that's right across the street from the studio here and converted it into a 1,000-seat outdoor amphitheater in the last couple of years, and
it looks awesome.
Yeah, it looks really good right now. Like the grass is super green. We've got a lot of people that are really excited about it. We have bands that that range in mostly just that tour around the southeast. A lot of tribute acts. The people around here love tribute acts,
dude. But they everywhere. There's so many that come through
Right.
Philadelphia, and they come to big venues. Like
sure.
You're not going to see Queen with Freddie Mercury again, or the Led Zeppelin lineups. When these tribute bands come through that look and sound like them, it's a fucking hit.
Yeah, for sure. I've got one rule in booking the tribute bands, though, is I don't book any tribute bands where you can go see the original artist still.
Okay.
So, like, this weekend we have the Pearl Jam tribute, Jeremy's 10. From my understanding, you can't go see Pearl Jam anywhere. They're not playing anywhere. Ever.
Yeah.
They might play like a one tour every 5 years or something like that.
Yeah, they probably come through Charlotte once every 4 or 5 years.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I just want to make sure that, staying true to form with, 'cause I'm a musician by trade too. Obviously, we talked about that. But, if you have the ability to go see the original act, then absolutely you need to go do that. And I don't want to facilitate, taking money out of those guys' pockets.
Yeah. But there's such a market for that.
Oh yeah,
I think so. I've seen a Beatles tribute band that did the costume changes, like the Ed Sullivan suits, into like all the hippie shit, and did
The Sgt.
nothing
Pepper
for
stuff?
me.
Yeah.
It did nothing for me. I'd
Yeah.
rather just see 4 dudes or women, like 4 people,
Right.
in jeans and t-shirts playing the music because they want to. Like,
Right, yeah.
Like, I mean, I love a tribute band, but like the costume changes and like the
Yeah, I'm
I don't
okay
know.
with that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we said because we're an outdoor venue. We're super rustic. It's almost like a festival type feel. So we don't have a whole lot of we don't have like an indoor space connected to our outdoor stage. So there's like no room for any of that frills bullshit that you're just talking about there, like costume changes and stuff like that. And I have to be like super upfront with the folks. I'm like, listen, like what you show up in, like
Like show up in your gig clothes unless you're going to change in the
for
van
sure.
or something.
for
Yeah.
sure. So it's we're finding that I just the same thing you're talking about is that people love these tribute bands, and we're going to keep giving it to them. But we also have like original songwriters and original bands that are from the southeastern United States to come play, and so far so good, man.
Yeah, and the venue's called The Hum.
The Hum, yeah,
It's
by the way,
really, yeah. Let's get the name out there. It's really cool.
Thanks.
So you're a musician yourself. So am I. When did you start playing guitar?
Well, my mom was a music teacher.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, she taught.
So you grew up with it?
Yeah, she taught piano and voice out of the house, and she was also an elementary school teacher as well. And I was immersed in music from a real young age. Listening to all of my mom's students. I mean, she'd have 5 or 6 kids over a day teaching, and.
What music did she listen to around the house? Did that influence what you listened to as a child?
No, absolutely not. She was more of the. She listened to Davidson College's, classical music station that was on the radio. Generally speaking, when it was anything else, it was like Beach Boys and stuff like that. But like, it definitely did not shape the type of music that I listened to.
Okay, did that
or
come
or
in like
anything
grade
else.
school or like another sibling?
Yeah. Like it's. I got introduced to the Grateful Dead when I was not even a teenager, and fell in love with that type of music, and started going to those type shows when I was 14.
Okay.
I saw Jerry Garcia in the flesh in 1995.
Same year he died.
Yeah, same year he died.
He died in
I saw
95,
him
yeah.
on his last tour. They were in.
Charlotte?
They were in Charlotte, March of what year was that? I guess it was 1995.
Yeah,
March of
'cause he died in
95, and
July
he died in
94.
August. Yeah,
Summer. I know
died
it
in
was
August
summer.
or something like that, like August 8th or August 1st or something like that. One of the two. One of his birthdays and one he died on. But yeah, it was surreal. And I've seen those type of spin-off bands, and
The John Mayer rendition.
that one sucks. Johnny Salami, bro, he is awful. Well, he's not awful.
He's really talented.
It's great.
I'm
and
not a fan.
And he brings a lot to the scene, and he's really keeping the music going. But the music's really slow.
Yeah.
It's slow, and I know that Bobby Weir is the majority of the music director. It does the majority of the music directing in that band. So I don't know if John Mayer has any say on the tempo, but I know their drummer just quit. Bill Kreutzmann just quit because of quote unquote creative differences. That he might as well just said it's too slow.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. And so now you see him out playing with all these young cats that are just like rock and roll high energy stuff. So, but I tell you, since we're kind of on the topic of the Grateful Dead, I saw Joe Russo's Almost Dead in Asheville on Wednesday night, and Joe is, the Tom Hamilton, who is the guitar player for that band, is from y'all's area.
Oh yeah,
and played in was in American Babies and a couple other bands that were around there, and he's fantastic. But I just want to throw that out there. They're great.
What was the first riff you learned on guitar?
Probably some bullshit church song.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we were active in the church when I was a kid, and we played in. It was a Lutheran church. It wasn't like handling snakes and stuff, but it was. We would play. I was in probably 4th or 5th grade, and we had a buddy of mine. We learned guitar together essentially, and we would play at church. Mm-hmm. Like we would both bring our guitars to church.
G, C, D,
Yep,
G,
all day.
C, D.
All day.
Yeah.
And we would learn. It was a lot better than going to confirmation class. So we would sit together and chart songs and figure them out and play them for contemporary services and stuff like that. So that's how I really started. I was playing in front of people when I was awful.
Yeah, you just
I was thrown to the fire. I mean, granted, they were very receptive because it was church. So I'm not going to get booed or heckled,
see, you
but,
just threw a memory at me I haven't thought about in 25 years or more, because I played guitar in church too, and I totally forgot about that. It wasn't like an every Sunday thing, but I went to Catholic school.
Yeah.
So we would have Mass first Friday, and I used to play guitar on Fridays at Mass. I totally forgot that for 25 years.
Yeah.
And I remember my one teacher being like, "You're really good." I was like, I played 3 chords the entire time. And I played them quietly in the fear that I was not playing them correctly.
Right.
Because I had to follow the piano player's lead, and she wrote the chords on my piece of paper, and I was like, I don't know where these go.
Right.
Yeah, I remember getting a compliment, and even as a young kid being like, I appreciate that, but no.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sentiment's there. I get it.
Which I apply to stand up today.
Dude, I have, and I would love to talk about that. I cannot take compliments.
I know.
I'm the worst. People are like, every time somebody's like, that was freaking awesome. Like, I loved it. I'm like, you're lying to me.
I just feel
Why
like...
is that?
I don't know, but me and all my comedian friends are the same way.
So you're just being nice.
But I've gotten better, because if a complete stranger comes up to me and says they enjoyed the show or thought I was funny, you have to say thank you and own it, because you're an asshole if you're not.
Yeah.
It's imposter
and you have to.
syndrome.
Yeah, for sure.
But you're like...
It is imposter syndrome. That's exactly
It totally is. I mean, I say it all the time. I've been doing stand-up for almost 20 years, and people are like, "Oh, that was awesome," and I'm like, "All right, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank
it wasn't
you."
my best, but thanks. Yeah. And you just don't want. You got to be. You got to meet the excitement with excitement.
Yeah, absolutely. So, even if you're so tired
fake,
and
so fake. But that's it comes with the territory. Performing artists. That's. The imposter syndrome is real, man. Like, it's like, you're like, do I deserve to be here?
Do you feel like a fraud?
Yeah,
or
for sure.
You feel like you're not the real deal?
Yeah, or it's like, is this like is this real? Like, is this a real thing? Like, am I really trying to do this? And it's because it's just, you see other people that are doing other things that you appreciate so much more than what you're doing. Mm-hmm. It's like. Then it's like the comparison game starts.
Yeah,
it's like, for example, I went to that J-Rad show in Asheville on Wednesday, and it was at the Salvage Station, which is my favorite venue on the planet. Mm-hmm. It's in an old salvage yard. It's perfect. It's a absolutely great venue. The sound's phenomenal. The food's great. Beers are good. Inside outside venue. Would love to replicate that across the street at the Hum someday. But I was just like, I had like this thing. I was like, man, I'm doing so much, and I've got so far to go.
Oh my God.
So far to go with it.
Even like Chappelle and Chris Rock say they want to get better at stand-up, and I'm like, oh man.
It's like, don't do that.
Yeah, it's like, you never want to stop learning, though.
Right.
I wonder if people compliment Dave Grohl or Billy Joel, and they're like, that was great tonight, they're like, yeah, thank you.
It's like, yeah, like no shit.
Also, on the same token, like right before Billy Joel plays Piano Man, is he like, oh, for fuck's sake, here we go again.
Here we go again.
All right.
What I would do if he had that problem, that mental problem, I would just open his bank account.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Just take a good look at like the 3 commas that he has in his bank account and be like, I will happily play.
I will play scenes from an Italian restaurant with a smile right now.
Right. Just give me one of those.
Seriously.
That's all I want. Just one.
So I know you got a meeting here soon, somewhat soon. We will.
My God. Yes, I do have a meeting.
Yeah. Dude, I can't thank you enough, man. I love doing the podcast. You have helped me in so many ways. Here are compliments. I'm sorry. Here are compliments.
Compliments. You don't mean it, Pat.
I appreciate it, man. So thank you for hopping on the pod today. I'm glad we got to do this in person at the studio.
It's nice to see your face instead of a screen.
This is really cool. So thank you for all the hard work you do, and thank you for helping, I guess I'll do it with Pat House, get off the ground every 2 weeks.
Thanks, man. High five.
You got it. High five.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, man.